who do not know, like me, because it's so hidden, I buy into the propaganda of buying this expensive bougie, chicken, pig, bacon and beef and all this stuff that I was paying extra for. I had no idea what was happening, no clue. And it's designed, the system is designed to keep us in the dark, to not allow for us to see, to love our companion animals like our dogs that we rescue. This dog could have been killed, but she wasn't euthanized, and we saved her life. And, adopt, don't shop. So, yeah, to me, I was just doing something that to me I felt like was giving information. I am all about the information campaign of many campaigns. And it scared me, honestly, when he was being so felt aggressive. You need to leave, and I was like, I'm just taking a picture. What are you doing here? You look like you're, what did he say? You look like you're protesting. I look like I'm protesting. I look like I wasn't screaming. I was just a public person taking pictures. Okay, sure. So you're saying by me providing information, that's a protest? I mean, I do hope that by me providing information, it does wake people up and they see that there's how many chickens are killed per minute, Jane? How many billions per year across the world? What? Okay. Wow. That's that.
Yeah. Thank you, Paige, for, bringing us the breaking news of what you experienced. And again, we invite the company on anytime. Safe travels, happy trails to you. I want to go out. Matthew's got to go in a second. Who do we expect to be on the stand? Tell us all about Raven in the short period of time you have.
Yeah, Raven Deerbrook took the stand earlier this morning. The defense, I think, has been shaken up by different rulings in the case, different things that the prosecution is bringing forth. So it's never entirely sure what our final order will be for taking the stand. But we have Raven in. She's talking about doing the initial investigation and really like how she learned of the situation at Petaluma Poultry, which was from a ProPublica publication, and then how she started investigating thus far, including placing hidden cameras. And the jury was able to see a clip about a minute long of, I believe it was the moment of slaughter itself, and chickens coming in hung upside down as they go. It was a little bit unclear exactly what's happening. We haven't yet had testimony of her walking through what she says is going on there. And that's what we expect to happen this afternoon, is going further into her investigation.
All right. Thank you so much. I know you've got to go in and take notes, and we appreciate your coverage. And again, we invite the companies on anytime, the company involved in this on anytime. Now, a couple of things. I want to talk a little bit about the person on the stand. This is Raven Deerbrook, and she is a very famous animal cruelty investigator who made a lot of news. We actually interviewed her after she infiltrated a pig slaughterhouse and captured video of the pigs being gassed to death. I want to warn you, this is a warning. It's very short, but it is disturbing, but it's a very short clip. But this is what she did. This is her investigation. So let's take a quick look at it. And she is on the stand today in the Zoe Rosenberg case, so it is relevant. I will start this. Les Mitchell with a very special guest on Unchained TV, Raven Deerbrook, who has made headlines around the world with her undercover investigation.
According to legal experts and veterinarians, these gas chambers are illegal, where pigs are not just stunned, but slowly killed by asphyxiation. They're in violation of state and federal law meant to protect animals from torture. Please join me and go to stopgaschambers.org to learn how you can help.
Let's go to the beginning. This woman, knowing that the Smithfield Farmer John slaughterhouse was about to shut down, infiltrated the slaughterhouse dressed as a worker. And what she uncovered was absolutely extraordinary. It has made headlines in the New York Times. It has made headlines in the San Francisco Chronicle. It has made headlines on Wired, which did an in-depth article. And these are also linking to the video. So people around the world are seeing the video that she captured. Hidden camera in U.S. slaughterhouse shows the horror of gassing pigs. So without further ado, Raven Deerbrook, wow, tell us what you did.
Yeah, so I was aware that pigs, unfortunately, in the world, have been put into gas chambers for some time now. We had good reason to believe this is happening in the United States, but we didn't have direct evidence of what was going on. The company says that these are painless devices, that workers are told that pigs just go to sleep inside. I didn't believe that was true based on the evidence from Australia, based on the science. So I went undercover at Smithfield's Farmer John to get direct evidence that the company was not being truthful, and that these gas chambers are horrifically inhumane.
All right, well, let's take another quick look at what you uncovered, which is truly extraordinary. We're going to talk a little bit about the bravery that it takes to do something like this.
My name is Raven Deerbrook. I'm an undercover investigator, and while working in Los Angeles, I gained access to one of the most secretive aspects of the slaughter industry, the gas chambers used on pigs.
Wow. So how did you get? There you go. In 2 minutes, she is going to take the stand in the Zoe Rosenberg case. I wanted to bring you her history because they're going to get into it. I'm sure the prosecution is going to get into it. So, first of all, you gotta acknowledge the extraordinary heroism, because that interview was an hour long, but she goes into the fact that she almost didn't make it out of the gas chamber. She had one hand, and if she had missed that rung, she would have had the same outcome that the pigs had. Okay, the gas chamber. So, yeah, Tiffany Brunelli, your thoughts?
Yes, I'm reading. I'm keeping up to date on the X from Zoe's team, and she's already on the stand, and she's giving a lot of good information. She says how she, started her investigation there. She was doing researching.
I want to clarify. We're talking about Zoe Rosenberg on the stand in the Raven Deerbrook on the stand in the Zoe Rosenberg case. And when Zoe's talking, she's not talking about the pigs. That's something that happened a couple of years ago. She's talking about going into the chicken slaughterhouse where Zoe also went. And that's why she's a witness, because she had gone into the same slaughterhouse. Continue on.
Yeah, so she did. It looks like she did quite a bit of research before she went in. And then she went in on a Sunday dressed as an employee, and she put 2 small cameras, it looks like, in the kill room. And she said, if there's going to be any problems, that's where it's going to usually be, is on the kill floor. And she said, based on her experience, this is where there will be problems or not. And Zoe's attorney asked her, were you dead set to continue this investigation? And she said, no, it depends on what I obtained from my investigation, if she decided to continue or not. So it sounds like she's doing really well on the stand.
All right. Renee King-Sonnen, your thoughts about this particular witness in light of the fact that the previous witness, Carla Cabral, was grilled about her activism. And I assume that at some point the prosecution is going to grill Zoe Rosenberg about her activism, quite possibly what that famous incident that got in all those newspapers, including the New York Times.
Yeah, well, Raven Deerbrook, she's on the stand today because she did something unbelievably extraordinary. She planted hidden cameras inside the very same slaughterhouse that's at the center of this trial. What she documented were pigs not just going to sleep to a lullaby. They were thrashing, they were gasping, they were screaming in carbon dioxide gas chambers that the industry calls humane. Her footage was the first of its kind, I believe, published. It got a lot of publications because I did some reading and research on it, and it was shared everywhere, worldwide, I believe. That's why she's here on the stand to tell the truth about what happens inside these walls. And the fact that prosecutors are trying to portray her as an extremist only proves how powerful her evidence really, really is. She risked prison to show the world the truth inside this slaughterhouse. She didn't just talk about the cruelty, she documented it every step of the way. And now she's under oath testifying. I hope that the world listens. I hope that this jury hears her. They get the correlation, because her courage is why we even know what happens behind those walls in those gas chambers.
And, one thing that occurs to me that could solve all of this once and for all, Lindsay Baker, is, and again, this particular incident concerns one slaughterhouse that Zoe Rosenberg went into, but it's really the entire industry that is also on trial here, according to a lot of observers. What's the image and what happens behind closed doors? One easy way to solve it is to have cameras, live cameras, in every facility that involves factory farmed animals, whether it's the raising of them or the killing of them. And the technology is there. What are your thoughts, Lindsay Baker?
Well, I think that would be a way for these huge corporations that are telling us that they are treating the animals as humanely, as they possibly can, that they could prove it to us that they are. But the reality is they could never do that, because it's absolutely, how do you kill someone in a humane way, first of all? And second of all, with the amount of animals that go through this slaughter line in order to provide food for the population that only is continuing to grow, is absurd. There is nothing about this that makes sense. If anything is extreme, it's the extreme stupidity, arrogance, and ability to lie to the public about what is really possible with the food chain and the food source. And also, I just have to say, when I saw that footage, Jane, I felt like I was watching a horror movie or a sci-fi movie. Seeing those pigs, that looks like my puppy. He's 9 months old downstairs. It's a horror. I mean, I couldn't even imagine. And how could we say that people that are trying to bring this forward, risking their lives, putting their lives on the line, are extreme? How can we say that? Well, what is extreme is the cruelty that our culture is willing to accept.
There is a culture war going on right now in this trial, and it reflects the culture war across the nation. As some people say, oh, those animals, their suffering is different. It doesn't count. And then there's the people that say, no, the essence of all evil is that some suffering doesn't count. And then there are those who say, it's not that bad. Look, it's the highest animal welfare standards. Then there's others who say it's suffering. One easy way to fix it all, and I've got about 6 of these, okay? These are very cheap and they're very effective, and there's plenty that zoom right in. I'm officially suggesting that we propose legislation, federal legislation, that would require live cameras in all factory farms and slaughterhouses nationally, that anybody, any U.S. citizen, can see at any time. And it can be done on one website where it's all visible. Okay? And it can be done very cheaply. And why is it that it's okay for the federal government to get involved? Because the federal government subsidizes animal agriculture to the tune of many billions. The Farm Bill subsidizes animal agriculture, and it provides for reimbursements when animals suffer from bird flu or any number of issues, quote unquote, natural disasters that are getting worse due to climate change, the commodity crops that are subsidized that go into animal feed. So wherefore there is controversy about what's happening in these facilities, wherefore the technology exists for all of those facilities to be monitored live by the general population, wherefore the federal government subsidizes this industry, whereas, I think I got it the wrong way. I think that's wherefore we need to have live cameras in every single factory, farm, and slaughterhouse. That would solve the whole problem. We wouldn't have to be here. Zoe wouldn't have to go in. I mean, she's reported alleged animal cruelty. And again, we invite the company on anytime, but she's reported it repeatedly. And let's listen to her talking about how she tried to report it so many times and that nothing was done. Well, she wouldn't have to go in. Raven Deerbrook wouldn't have to risk her life if there was already a camera, if, for example, in that pig slaughterhouse.
Something has to be done. I'm going to try at least one more time. So I compiled all of my evidence of animal cruelty, all of my evidence of disease, and I reported it to several law enforcement agencies in Sonoma County and at the state level. All I received in response was a very dismissive email from the Sonoma County District Attorney's Office. And months later, a very bizarre email from the United States Department of Agriculture saying that animal cruelty and disease is apparently not their area of expertise. The animal services officers who were once my heroes did not even grace me with a response. I didn't know what else to do but to continue to rescue animals myself. And so on June 13th, 2023, I personally rescued 4 chickens. I entered the slaughterhouse partially disguised as a worker. I approached the back of a transport truck that had just parked behind the slaughterhouse gates. I opened up 2 of the crates. Chickens were packed together so tightly they couldn't even turn around. They couldn't even stand up. And I removed 4 chickens from those crates. They were covered in scratches, bruises, small wounds. They were infested with coccidia parasites. Poppy had an injured toe and a respiratory infection. Some of the other birds had infected feet. Their feet were filled with pus. I got them veterinary care and I shared their stories with the world, asking the public to join me in calling on the authorities to finally do something to address this horrific misconduct. And you might be surprised to learn that as far as that ever so consequential night goes, that's really pretty much it as far as my part in that night.
So I want to say one more time, we are a 501c3 nonprofit. As the founder and president, I'm officially calling on legislation to ensure that every factory, farm, and slaughterhouse in the United States of America has cameras that are live and providing live surveillance video placed so that there's no hidden areas that can't be videotaped. This is very cheap. The technology is there, and that would end the controversy over what Zoe, for example, is saying and what a particular company is saying, what Raven is saying and what a particular company is saying. And it would also eliminate the need for the Zoes of the world to feel that they need to go into these facilities, because it would be documented for everyone to see with public access. And I would like to see legislation proposed. I'm going to work on it. What we need to do is create the legislation and then see if we can get some of our representatives in Congress to support it. What are your thoughts? Starting with, we're going to go to Texas, Renee King Sonnen.
I love this idea. I mean, if the industry truly believes, like they say they do, in transparency and claims that their practices are ethical and not, and all that, then why not let the cameras roll? The truth is, they really do fight transparency at every single turn because they know that the public would be horrified. That's why Paul McCartney said if slaughterhouses had glass walls, the whole world, I think he said, would be vegetarian, but they would be vegan. So the world would go vegan overnight. The industry doesn't fear activists, Jane. They fear transparency.
All right. What are the other panelists' thoughts on this? Let's go to Tiffany Brunelli. Your thoughts, former law enforcement investigator turned Direct Action Everywhere member.
Yes, I love this idea, Jane. And I'm thinking, don't prisons and jails have cameras and other places that receive federal funding? So they're getting federal subsidies. Why they should have transparency. The cameras is a great idea. And I have an update from the X or the Twitter. It looks like the defense is doing a good job pointing out that it's coming up. They're asking Raven Deerbrook about, were you charged at the same time that Zoe was? And she said yes. And they're asking, kind of pointing out, why isn't she on trial? Why is it only one person? And they're saying she took a deferred judgment, which is going to be up in January. She doesn't have to admit to any guilt. And they asked her, did you get any benefits from testifying here today? And she said, absolutely not. I just want to tell the truth about what happened. But I think the defense is doing a good job pointing out that there was others involved, and why aren't they charged? They're just going after Zoe. So I think they're able to get that out.
Thank you for that update. Okay, Lindsay Baker, what's your reaction to this idea? And you are on the board of Unchained TV. So as a board member, I would need to get your approval. What do you think about Unchained TV proposing that a simple solution to this, and the technology's there and it's very affordable, is just to put cameras in every niche and corner of every factory, farm, and slaughterhouse in the United States of America?
Well, I'd say as a board member, not only do I totally support you, I will offer my help if we're going to be actually trying to work on getting this to legislation, and there's something I can help with. I would love to help, because it is so true, whether it's a elderly home for elderly people or any sort of situation, transparency is the only way for there to be, humane treatment. And of course, in this situation, it can never be humane, as we've said before, but at least it will draw the light. It will bring a light to it. I think it's an amazing idea. So I'm all for it.
All right. Well, something has come out of this. I find that sometimes the best ideas come out of our discussions live on the air, where we replicate the format of a court TV or CNN headline news, and everybody's giving you props. Legendary speakers today. You know what? I hope you join tomorrow. I'm going to hold Derek Green from Sepultura's comments till tomorrow, because we've covered a lot of ground. So that's going to become what they call a tease in the business. Come back tomorrow at 1:00, and we will tell you what Sepultura lead singer Derek Green had to say about this case. And remember, Moby has already spoken out, and he's a music legend, calling Zoe a hero at the level compared to Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights leaders and people who experience jail to make a point. So this has been a really fascinating discussion. I want to thank our incredible panel for being here. I want to thank everybody watching. Unchained TV is a 501c3 nonprofit news and entertainment organization, and we need your help. You can download us for free on the phone. You can watch us, unchained.tv, and we're also on streaming networks, all bunch of them. But what we do need, because we're also on social media, is for you to share out. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on X, if you're watching on LinkedIn, share this out. Share, share, share. And we will be back tomorrow. So join us tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific for more of the Zoe Rosenberg chicken rescue trial.